TUFF SHIFT. Hello, world, and welcome to another episode of TUFF SHIFT, the podcast where we unpack all that goes into surviving the job and living the dream. Yeah, this week it has a question mark on it. It has a question mark. I'm always worried that I'm never going to have enough to talk to you guys about. And then shit happens. And like, even when I don't think there's enough to talk to you guys about, did I say my name is Patrick Murtagh? I'm your host? Because I usually forget myself. There we go. But I am your host. And, in taking notes for getting ready for this week and taking notes of, crazy, not crazy, should I say crazy? I don't know. People's behavior, people's unique behavior in the workplace and what I see online and just experiences. I ended up with a little too much to talk, so I had to pull back. I had too much to talk about, and I don't get to tell you about, in addition or like continuing that Journey cover band people who offered me like their semi-used olives, like, oh, we barely touched them if you want to finish them, like, blah. There was definitely behavior like that this weekend with people just needing my attention, which is like, again, are we speaking this into reality? Is my conversation last week with Maddie Rangel about people who, as soon as I'm giving attention, or as soon as to somebody else, or as soon I'm finishing thoughts, people, I'm working on that, and we're going to talk about that in a second. As soon as I give my attention to somebody else, as soon as I'm focusing on what I'm doing, when you've had all the time to talk to me, that's when you decide to actually say, I'm ready to order, or what are you doing there? Or tell me about your life, as if it's any of your fucking business, right? I work for the restaurant, not for you. Is that starting off too harsh? Who the fuck cares? It's almost Scorpio season. Let's get going. So I wanted to start this pre-shift off by doing a little update. Last week we talked about mental health with Maddie Rangel, and he does his mental health Mondays, checking in. So he says, "Hey, it's Monday, Mental Health Monday. I'm just letting you know I'm going to be here next week, and I hope you can too." And he asks people to sound off below and say that they'll be here next week, and if they have something bothering them, just share it, get it out to someone, even if it's someone online. I brought up that I was starting therapy, and since the time of that recording to this recording, I've actually had 2 sessions, and I gotta say, I'm absolutely in love with it. I've always been very I've always been very pro therapy, even speech therapy, very pro therapy. But as an adult, I never really found my way to it. I did a lot of self-help courses, a lot of mastery courses, a lot of woo-woo spiritual living courses, all of that self-empowerment things, which is, along with therapy, is great. It's all about how you get the information you need to get the focus, to get the clarity, to get the drive that you want. And so I was nervous, obviously, but I absolutely love it. And one of the things we were talking about that, when I said, why I'm starting therapy, was because I've brought up here many times my self-diagnosed adult onset ADHD, which there is nothing adult onset about it, especially having taken the screener that I was given about ADHD, and embarrassed at how much of it resonated with me. Literally every talking point, to where I've, shared this with other people. And they're like, wow, you just don't seem like, I wouldn't think that you struggle with that because you seem to have executive function. I'm like, well, looks can be deceiving, right? Like, if I am doing bookkeeping, I can't be trusted to work at home. If I'm doing work from home, if I bill 5 hours, that's actually at least 8 hours of my time it took to get the 5 hours out, and that's being generous. So that was part of the journey into this, and my therapist wasted no freaking time. Like, as soon as before we even started, he sent me the screener, and he's like, all right, we're going to talk about this and that. On the first session, we discussed ADHD and, developing management skills, talking about medication. And I'm not sure if you know about like adults getting diagnosed with ADHD because of the late 90s, early 2000s, and children being overdiagnosed with ADHD. It has now kind of gone in the reverse, where it's a lot harder for people to get the diagnoses they need. And then if they need medicine, to get that, because they really want to make sure they're just not, you know, medicating people unnecessary, which I understand. But it is usually a slow roll for a lot of people. And I really struck gold because I have great insurance. But the way that it works is I don't really pick my therapist. I kind of give my needs and requests and wants and desires, and they match me up with somebody that they think is the best fit. And my therapist was like, acknowledge that. He's like, I know you didn't choose me because I know how your insurance works. So we're going to really be mindful of that in discovering if this is a fit. And just that alone, I was like, I'm already sold at how thoughtful he is. And I just got a call about, you know, moving forward with ADHD medication and what that journey looks like. They're not just giving it to me. I have to go in for a consultation. But I, in the past few weeks, I've really declaimed that I'm refocusing my energies. I am going to streamline my life to get the shit done and just kind of refocus. Like, what are my goals and aspirations? And not being a 20-year-old in New York City, chasing the dream and throwing all the pasta at the wall. What are my goals and what is my intention, and what can I be doing besides working in restaurants? And in setting these goals, I'm just so amazed at how everything, not solved, but things seem to be lining up and falling into place. And as I'm making the movements forward, there are just stepping stones in front of me. So if you're thinking about going to therapy, if that's something that's interesting, if you're thinking of like restarting your life, trying to get out of restaurants, trying to get out of a situation, like, do it. Just put out the feelers. State to somebody, write yourself an email about what you're done with, what you want next, and then start making small steps. Doesn't have to be big leaps, just small steps, small obtainable goals, and see how fucking fast you get through that list and see how fast things show up for you. All right, that's my update. I'm not going to update you every week on therapy. All right, I'm not going to. I'm not going to be that. Well, I might be. Who knows? I'm. Yeah, I probably will, but I won't. Maybe. But in the ADHD of it all, you probably, some of you have already seen this on my social media. Some ADHD bullshit that showed its face, because again, it's funny when something's up, how it pokes its face. And when you're committed to getting to the bottom of something, how certain problems or issues or just occurrences just show their little faces. The ADHD bullshit of it all. This week I was at rehearsal, and we got some benches, and we had been working with this one bench that was like in the theater, and we just kind of like took it for rehearsal, and it was like, you know, a lobby bench for patrons to sit outside before the theaters open. It was like, you know, Bed Bath and Beyondy, maybe Target, even though I don't mess with Target at the moment. It just, you know, it's like maybe not the sturdiest, like it got the job done. And the more we used it in rehearsal, the more it was like, this thing's going to fall apart. And anytime somebody sat on it, I was like, dear precious Jesus. Not yes, for their health, but also please don't let them fall on my foot, right? Like, this is gonna be ugly. And so on Monday, show up to rehearsal, and our wonderful leading lady and producer shows up, and she has assembled two, or actually she didn't assemble them because the director doesn't want her wearing too many hats. So she definitely didn't assemble them herself. Beautiful benches. And in the video I mentioned, I may walk off with one at the end of the show. Don't tell her. But it's just like so beautiful, and I was like, oh my god, I love those. It looks like West Elm, looks like whatever. And they were just talking about how great they look great, and they're going to be what we use in the show. And they kept going, they're sturdy, they're so sturdy, it's going to be great. You could jump on these, you could stand on these, da 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 da. And in my brain, I took that as a challenge. I said, oh yeah, you can jump on these, you can stand, these aren't going to collapse. Nobody asked me to do this. Nobody asked me to do this. But in what might be the H of the ADHD, where it's just like can't sit still and these intrusive thoughts come in, And just for the backup, if you didn't see my video on social media, I used to be in a gym cult. I escaped a very gay gym cult in New York City called Mark Fisher's Fitness. They do amazing things there, like serve lots of Kool-Aid. But I was like this gay Broadway gym rat. And just in the gayest way, like, but also annoyingly meatheady-ish about like, oh, look at in holding this tray, I'm actually engaging my core and doing a standing plank, or wow, if I really engage this and use my hip flexors, I can hinge and da 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 and get more powerful lift. And don't get me started about how reaching for something is really good for your brain and your nervous system. Like I am that level of annoying. So I'm like, I need to show off how fucking strong I am, and I may be 41, baby, but I can still box jump with the best of them. Nobody asked me to do any of this shit. So everyone's just kind of getting ready for rehearsal. This all happens before rehearsal. And I make my way over to this bench. And I set up and I, do a little lean forward, make sure my hinge is in place. I got this. My knees are good to go. And I do like a little semi-squat into a jump. And I get into the air because, baby, I got it. And I clear this 3-foot bench. 3 foot, 2.5 foot, whatever. Impressive. I clear it and I jump up and I land quietly. And for a split second, I'm like, bitch, you still got it. You still got it. I jumped up, I cleared the lip of the bench, and I landed in the dead center of the bench quietly, gentle on my joints. It was masterful, but you know how quick a split second goes. And then, you know what else went? The bench. It didn't break, but there was no pads underneath because my brain didn't think, like, they just took it out of the box. There's nothing, like, it isn't stage ready. They didn't say it's stage ready. They didn't say you should jump on this. They said you could jump on this. And the bench went forward. It was so slick. It just went straight forward. It didn't fall over, but guess who did? Me. Oh, I saw my life flash before my eyes, just all the nachos and margaritas. And and of course, Jeremy and our dog Felix, of course. Yes, 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 them too. Everything. I was like, oh shit, I'm falling. I didn't think this through. And thud. Oh, don't clap in front of a microphone. Sorry, I've learned that before. Thud. I fell right on my tailbone and landed on my left wrist. And immediately I was like, you're an asshole. You're a fucking asshole. You are too old to be doing this shit. And that's not me. That's really not me. Like, I'm not, I mean, yes, I do the gym head meat wrap, but like, I am professional. I goof around, but like, not like, I never endanger myself. I've never had an incident report. I've never had to fill out an accident report. I've done nothing. I've been doing theater for over 30 years. I've been in the union since the beginning of 2011. I have a clean record. And like, you don't touch prop pieces that aren't yours. I mean, you don't get caught touching prop pieces that aren't yours. You don't get caught touching scenery, being on scenery, swinging on scenery, jumping. You don't do that. I keep saying get caught. Oops. You got to behave. And I had a lapse in judgment. And there I was, just thriving in pain. And I had to fill out my first incident report ever. And it was, I just humiliated. And everyone was so nice. They're like, oh, it's not your fault. I'm like, no, it's 100% my fault. Like, no, there was no padding. I was like, yeah, but I'm not blocked. I'm not blocked to use these benches any time. I do not sit on the bench. I do not move a bench. I do not stand on a bench. I barely walk past a bench. I have a cross behind. I have nothing to do with these benches. It is 100% my fault. And everyone was just being like a little too nice about it. So obviously I had to reach out to the people in my life that hold me accountable and be like, oh, that's 100% your fucking fault, you idiot. And of course, my lovely Marty Millett reminded me, tenors don't jump on furniture. That's bullshit for baritones. So yeah, I should have known better. I should have known better. And, it's not like I shake drinks for a living, right? That's the other dumb thing. Like, how stupid are you that you would put yourself, like, not only risk, your being in the show, risk being able to perform in the show, risk, they bought this set piece and you destroyed it in the first. I didn't destroy it, but I could have. Like, but also I have a job to do. I have a survival job, and whether or not it's shaking drinks or not, like, how the hell are you going to continue with your life injured just to prove that you can still box jump? Like, box jump at the gym, baby. Do that shit. So like people over 40 in theater with these intrusive thoughts and these hyperactivity mindsets, just safety first, baby. Safety first. And how has it affected me? I'm sore. I am sore. I imagine this is what it's like if you go to Folsom Street Festival, maybe. I imagine this is what it's like if you go to the Eagle every night for a full week. I am so tender. My wrist is fine. Thankfully, my wrist is fine. And, I said I reached out to Marty. I was like, I'm going to just take it really easy at work. I'm working with my work husband the next few nights. Hey, baby. Hey, Tyler. How you doing? And he'll take care of me. I won't do the service well. I'll just do the easy stuff, and I won't do the wine runs. I won't carry heavy shit. I'll be good. I'll let my wrist heal. I'll let my tuchus heal. But of course, that lasted all of 5 minutes. I kicked him out of the service well and was shaking drinks. But bending down, that's not a thing. Get squatting to get into the low boy, which is the refrigerator, to grab things. I was moving slow. I was I was a geriatric patient. Uh, I'm better. I'm better. And I know not to do this. So, like, when you have these intrusive thoughts, people, just don't. Safety first. Say, and now I understand. I used to make fun of my dad when he's like, "You be safe. And if you can't be safe, be smart." And then I'd be like, "And if you can't be smart, have fun." He's like, "That's not what I said." That's how I understand the older I get, his cautionary tales. Be safe, people. Be gentle on your bodies, especially when we're in this industry or these industries where we need our bodies to work. We need our bodies to walk on stage. We need our bodies to breathe air, to sing big songs. We need our bodies to shake drinks, to change beer kegs, all these things. Learn from me, okay? I'm not saying it won't happen again, but I'm going to really try hard. It won't happen in this production, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, that's enough of me and my cautionary tales and my journey with ADHD, especially now knowing that it's something I actually have and not something I think I have. All right, moving on, moving on. I got some shout outs. We just celebrated our 1 year, and I appreciate all the guests and all the listeners who cheered us on in that and sharing posts and sharing their episodes and reaching out to congratulate. And I want to send back out some of those congratulations. Specifically, first, we're going to start with Deborah Richards and the entire team at Shaken and Stirred, the story of flair bartending. You may remember we interviewed Debbie and Robin and Colby and Lindsay back last spring, and then I flew out to Vegas to be on the red carpet and to see the world premiere of this documentary about the history of flair bartending and the future of it, all the things that go into it and following the lives of these amazing bartenders. And I love if you go to shakenandstirredthemovie.com, see where you can see it. You can see it online, but if it's going to be premiering or at a film festival near you, go support it live and in person so they know that this film is reaching people and has a following. And if you're in LA on Thursday, October 16th at 6 p.m., the documentary will be at the La Femme, or I guess LA Femme. Maybe it's a double entendre. Is that the right word? Anyways, the La Femme International Film Festival, which is the oldest running women's film festival in Los Angeles, and Shaken and Stirred, a film made by Debbie Richards, an amazing woman in the film industry who is just always working, always getting stuff done, creating amazing things, and really creating a community to uplift. She's going to be here. They're going to be celebrating, and it's at the Regal LA Live Cinema. So if you know where the Crypto Arena is, it's there. If you don't know where the Crypto Arena is, Google's free. And if you go, there's a place there called Sol de Agave. I'm not sponsored, but if they want to sponsor me in kind with margaritas, their margaritas are delicious. Their food is a Mexican restaurant. The drinks are delicious. The food, there's a lady in the middle of the restaurant making the tortillas live. It is phenomenal. So if you're going to go there, it's literally around the corner. It's in the same complex. Go to Sol de Agave and then go celebrate Deb and Patrick and Danielle, everyone on the Shaken and Stirred team who is there celebrating this entry to the film festival, and who knows, maybe rack up some awards. All right, and also, hey, look, it's Michael and Marty. My friends, Michael Guerin and Marty Millett, are celebrating the 10th anniversary of their album by the same name. Hey, look, it's Michael and Marty. 10 whole years. It's a wonderful album with, a little, throwback to, the golden age of musical theater, the jazz standard, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, those roasts. That's kind of their aesthetic. Grace and Frankie, not Grace and Frankie, Comden and Green. I don't know who I'm talking about. Just old school humor and quips and just amazing singing, amazing musicianship. It's a fun album, and you can go hear it live at the West Bank Cafe Theater in New York City. That's on 42nd Street between 9th and 10th Avenue at the Laurie Beachman Theater, which is below the West Bank Cafe. That is October 12th at 7 p.m. And you can go to WBCNYC.com to get tickets. And once again, don't forget to tell them Large Marge sent you. All right, there we go. I've spoken enough. It is time for me to give the microphone over to somebody else who is here patiently waiting to talk about the amazing things that she's doing, besides assembling benches for rehearsal that she didn't assemble because we don't want to upset the director. Today's guest is the producer and leading lady of the musical parade that I'm starring in as well alongside her, co-starring. She's like the real star, which is going to be at the Electric Lodge Theater, October 23rd through November 2nd. I realized that on a lot of posts I had said November 3rd, which is incorrect because if you show up on a Monday, we won't be there. And if anyone from work is listening, it's definitely going until November 10th because I'm taking that weekend off too. But for you, if you're really going to see the show, it is October 23rd through November 2nd. Jesus Christ, get it right. And it's a phenomenal cast, really top to bottom, all areas, with our tech team, with our creative team, our musical director, the ensemble, the actors. Just so much heart and so much talent. And at the whole what am I trying to say? At the helm, holding the reins, is today's guest, who is a LA native and has been making theater here in LA nearly her entire life. She has worked at places like the Moonlight Amphitheater. She's worked at theater at the Welk, at the Chance Theater, in shows like Beauty and the Beast, the Marvelous Wonderettes, School of Rock, Ragtime, and like I said, coming up in Parade as Lucille Frank. She is an extraordinary talented human being, an extraordinary human being in general. She has this full soprano voice. She has this full belt voice. She is a dynamic actress, and the one thing tying it together is that she is all heart. And I can't wait to unpack so much with her. Please welcome to the show my friend and boss. She's quite literally signing my paychecks for the next 5, 6, 7 weeks. Bryce Hamilton.
Oh my goodness, hello.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, gorgeous. That's so nice. Oh my gosh, what an introduction.
This is my favorite part of the show because it's easy to say those things because they're true. And
Oh my
people
gosh.
just, this about yourself, but you just need to hear it back sometimes. Whoa,
Oh, thank
whoa, therapy.
we love therapy. We love therapy. Had it yesterday. Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't tell my therapist about the box jump.
Okay. Yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm sore. My wrist is
Yeah.
totally fine. I'm still taking care of it though, but my tuchus is it's a little
Oh
tender,
gosh.
and it was doing great yesterday. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to do
Hmm.
the wine run at work. I'm gonna let my coworker do that. He knows I'm messed up, and of course, I'm just like I'm my father, and I said my dad is safety first, but my dad also muscles through things. Like he fell off our roof one time and didn't tell anyone. And then
Oh
when
my
he had to
gosh.
have a hip replacement at like not even 50. It was like, oh yeah, at that time I fell off a roof, and my mom's like, what? So I have a little bit of that in me. So of course I did the wine run. Of course I rolled up the heavy rubber mats and took them outside and washed them and flung them over a fence to dry. Of course I took out the heavy recycling and flung it into a dumpster. So I'm doing, usually I'm sore after work because I do too much. And like when I squat at the low boy, I have like a little Beyonce moment. I squat, no hands. I'm like, still got it. So I'm usually sore. But then when you add falling on your ass in front of your entire cast, that makes it a little harder. So I'm doing good. But you know what? You want to know something really incredible?
Hmm.
This
What?
show is not about me. This show is about you. So I want to
Oh my
turn the
God.
tables because literally if you give me an inch, I will take 25,000 miles. So I want to know about you. We're going to start this show off the way we start it off all the time, which is I want to know, Bryce Hamilton, what was your gateway job into being a walking, talking, singing stereotype of an aspiring performer, paying the bills, working in restaurants?
Oh my goodness. It was when I first graduated from college. I was a bebe. Um, and it was at a very big chain restaurant. I'm not going to say the name. Um,
Do they serve
and
cheesecake?
it was one they might, yeah,
They
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay. Oh wow, that
yeah.
was actually a guess. Lots of places serve cheesecake.
Lots of places serve cheesecake.
Yeah, it could have been Baker
It's a
Square.
delightful dish.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a delightful dish. It's a crowd
It
favorite.
could have been Coco's. Who
So I'm
knows?
told. It could have been Coco's. It could have been IHOP.
Yes.
Um, but it was that was like my first real experience in the hospitality industry. I got a job as a host, front desk, at one of the busiest locations because it was on the water, and so a lot of tourists would come in and want to eat at this location and like look at the ocean. So it was always a very busy day. It taught me a lot um,
Yeah.
about humanity. Um, you
I
see a
imagine.
lot of, yes, yeah. Um, you see a lot of different personalities and different ways of like expressing themselves with their frustrations, with maybe like the wait time or anything else. And the front desk often gets the brunt of it because they're the first person they see. So that was my first big experience in the hospitality. I was there for about a year and a half. So yeah.
That's a lot of time served, and guessing if this is the restaurant I think it is, it's ginormous. Not only is its
Yeah.
menu ginormous, but the floor, there's just so many sections. There's a lot of walking, a lot, and even with that, the wait times. And like you said, we've talked with other hosts on here too, and we've all worked in restaurants. Like the host stand is the front. They're the first face they see, so they're the first greeting to the guest, and they can also be delivering the first disappointing news to a guest, which is like, we don't take reservations, so you're definitely gonna have to wait. Again, this place may not take reservations. And being so popular, everyone, it's like driving, whatever it is, people just, you're in a hurry, which means everyone else around you should be in a hurry or get out of your way. Same thing with popular restaurants. It's like, well, we have a movie to see, we have a show to see, we have, our parking meters up in this time. And it's like, you're still looking at 45 minutes. And my favorite
Hmm.
thing is like when a host is like, you can go to a bar, you can go to the bar and we'll call you over. And I know this place has bar seating, this place might have bar seating, but in a lot of places, what they do is people pick the most random table. And then it's like, were you sat here? And like, oh, is this not bar seating? Like, bitch, this is at the back of the restaurant. Like, how do you? I'm sure you have like a lot of adventures in that. So I think this just like leads to it. And it could be here, it could be another
Hmm.
place. But of all the tough shifts that you have
Hmm.
had, is there one that just stands out amongst the rest?
Ooh, my goodness. There's many, but I would say the toughest one would be I was scheduled to work July 4th. Um, and yes, for the evening shift, for the closing shift, which meant everyone wanted to go sit on the patio and see the fireworks, but little did they know they would not be able to see the fireworks from the patio. It was in the opposite direction. So we had to deliver that news to them later on in the night, and they were not happy about it. Um, but when I first showed up to the shift, I clocked in. I immediately go into the restaurant, like floor area, to the front desk. All of the lights are off. There is a whole crowd of people at the front and like the waiting area, and you're like, the if there was a bakery near there. And also, all of the kitchen stuff is off. We had a power outage, and it was like that for about an hour. So it got very chaotic. It was super hot in there. People weren't happy. And then also more people than showed up to get sat, which made the
Mm.
wait time even longer. And there's also no reservations. So they just had to show up, and some of them waited like 4 hours, which I don't think I would ever do.
No, baby, we're going to Arby's. We're going to
No,
Arby's and we're
no,
going to
we're
sit
going
on the
Arby's.
beach.
Yes, yes, yes. And it was about an hour of that. And then finally, all of the lights came on. We're like, we're ready to go. We can seat people again. And I'm like, okay, great. And we had a backup of tickets. So I was running to and from the different tables, seating people. And like you said, it's very big space. Um, so I think I probably, it felt like I ran a marathon, but I didn't. It just felt like it because all of the running back and forth, and then your feet hurt from all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um,
people take
but
that
yeah, that was,
personally, like a power outage. It's like, you did this to me. How can you not have a backup generator the size of a place that serves cheesecake? People take it personally, like natural disasters, anything that goes wrong in a restaurant, it is an attack on
mhm,
them. And especially a holiday. This is my holiday.
yeah,
It's like, well, no shit, Becky. No, it's your holiday. I've been celebrating all this time and I never knew you. That's crazy. I'm so glad to meet you,
mhm.
because you're the reason this holiday exists. Like, yeah, I'm sure there was plenty of that.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. There was some really nice people though, which made it better. I remember there was like one family, I sat them on the patio, and they just were like, "How are you doing?" And I had never been asked that by people I sat. Um, and I just was like, I'm good, doing like the professional answer of like, like, welcome, your server will be here soon. And they were like, no, really, you can sit with us if you want.
Oh,
I know, it was so nice. And I was like, I wish I could, but I have to go back. But thank you for the offer. So yeah, that made it better. But yeah, and they also were understaffed that night too. So it was a bit chaotic.
yeah.
Um,
Those
so
pagers
yeah,
must
I'd
have
say that.
been buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. Well, when the power
Oh,
came back
they
on.
were. Yes, yes, they were. And just seeing all of the printed out tickets on the front desk, there was like maybe 50 of them there. It was
Ooh,
chaos. Yeah. And it was that night. I still worked several months after that, but it was that night where it's like, I need to leave. I need
yeah.
to leave.
It's, sometimes we talk about that sometimes here. Um, when shit hits the fan, when it gets crazy, it can kind of be invigorating. And it's like that, it can be fun, but it doesn't mean that it is fun. It doesn't mean that when shit goes wrong it is fun, because like when it's craziness for productivity is wonderful. Craziness for
Mhm,
like, I'm trapped, I'm literally, this is what it must feel like to have your hands tied behind your back, to be drowning, to be like, you're just so helpless, and you're dealing with
yeah.
people who take it personally, who make it seem
Mhm,
like it's their day's ruined. And like, imagine me,
mhm,
imagine me. And yeah, and I mean, I know there's lots of things about working at the host stand that can be annoying. Probably there's some great things too, because right, like, you are the
mhm,
place where you're like the heart of the restaurant, to where
mhm.
the servers congregate. Obviously guests come and get, but like the servers are always like, either, well, good or bad, because like the servers will come up and be like, oh, just shooting the shit and chatting with you. Were you the person who like was sharing the tea on what was going on, or were you the person that the tea was shared with, where people came to you and like, because hosts know everything?
Yes, yes. I was the person they shared the tea with. Um, they would come up to me. If I did have some tea, I would sometimes share it with people. But most of the time, it was like servers coming up and being like, "You'll never guess what just happened. You'll never guess who just walked in and sat down." And I don't recognize anyone from like TV or anything, which I know is bad because I am an actor and I probably should. No faces. I had a lot of people come up and reach out, and to the point where management had to sometimes be like, "This isn't, please, we're glad you get along, but please work." Um,
I would always say I
so
was just returning menus. I was just returning menus.
yeah, no, literally, literally, like, yeah, we're just cleaning menus. We're just chit chatting. I'm helping Bryce organize the seating map, maybe, and letting her know what sections I can take if need be.
Now that's
So
the other thing that happens there. That's the not so
yes.
fun part is again, we're talking about people taking things personally. And I do think sometimes there are hosts who do play favorites, but that's just, I mean, that's what happens in life, so there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
But y'all get the brunt of it, so that way if you go to seat someone in my section and they say, actually, can we sit over there? And you just sat
Hmm.
Jason like 5 tables, and it's like, so
Yeah.
Jason's now overwhelmed with the 5 tables. I'm annoyed because I have 0 tables. How did you manage uh, all of that animosity coming towards you, managing servers' expectations, and then also like kind of anticipating their needs, and also protecting yourself? Like, how did you deal with that type of a?
Yeah, that was always really challenging. 'Cause as much as like we were friends, like the servers and I were like kiki and we were like friends and stuff, it was still they would get frustrated when other people would be like, "I want to sit there now," like you said, and then if they didn't have a table. But what I started doing when I first was working there, I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, let's change your table," because I didn't know better, and I'm a people pleaser, and I'm trying to break out of that to this day. Um, but I eventually started like talking to the server. If a customer is like, "Oh, can I sit here instead?" I would be like, "Let me just check with our management and the serving team to see if we can make this work." And so I would talk to a server, and normally the servers, if I talk to them about it, they'd be like, "Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's fine," which was good. I think it was just like the checking in and like transparency of like, "Hey, this is what's happening. Are you okay with it?" Um, was made it better. And then if they were not able to take a table, I would talk to the customer and just be like, "Hey, unfortunately, we don't have enough coverage in that area, but if you would like to wait for that table, you are more than welcome to. If not, we have this table available for you right now." And oftentimes they would take the table available. So I'm very lucky that actually the people I sat were pretty understanding when it came to the table situation, which was good. Not the not fun part, the part where they would lose their patience is like the wait time and stuff, but like seating them was pretty easy. There's also though it's hard. One thing I didn't realize would happen is people like to change seats without telling people. Like talking to the front desk, they would stand up and move tables. Like there was like one instance, a table was inside the restaurant, and then they saw a table open up on the patio, and all of a sudden the server that was serving them went up to the front desk and was like, so the people I'm serving just completely changed tables to not my section." And they were like, "Can you go talk to them?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I did like the classic. I went up to them and was like, "Hi, hope you're enjoying your meal. I just want to say, if you if you would like to change your tables, that's wonderful. We can accommodate it, but we do need to talk to you first before doing it to make sure it's situated with the server and everything's fine." They did not like that, and proceeded to yell for the manager. I think they were trying to get me fired. And I'm a double Pisces, so I'm a very sensitive person.
Hmm.
And I I went back to the front desk after all of that, and the server was like, "They're so mad at you. You pissed them off." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But then I also was kind of petty too, and I was like, "Good," because I just was over it.
I mean, rightfully so. Hey there, just checking in. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far. And if you are, why not leave us a 5-star review and a comment or two wherever you're listening to this from? And don't forget to follow us on social media at TUFF SHIFT podcast. That's TUFF SHIFT podcast. Everywhere, literally everywhere. And just a reminder, gratuity's not included, but tips are always welcome. And you can find our virtual tip jar at tuffshiftpodcast.com. That's TUFF shiftpodcast.com. All right, back to the show. People just think it's like their house and they can do whatever. And it's like, again, I work for the restaurant, not
Yeah.
for you. And if this
Hmm.
was my house, you are being a
Hmm.
bad guest. You are not being a gracious
Yeah.
guest. You're taking advantage of our hospitality, which is not
Yes.
a part of hospitality. And it's like, again, I just want to acknowledge what you said and what you did earlier about transparency. And that to me is like a step beyond. It's what makes the difference between good and great service, because it's just in a lot of times we're just like, well, we're in the heat of the moment and we just got to get shit done and da da da. But like taking that extra moment to like, hey, server, I see you. I know you're under covers. I'll get you. But right now, this. Or hey, customer, because a lot of places too, um, aren't as transparent when they could be, because like at the end of the day, it's like we're going to pretend it's not a restaurant. And it's like,
Hmm.
if a server has just gotten 5 tables, I think it's okay to tell the guest that, like, hey, you know what? That section has just filled up. And so if you go there, if I seat you there, it's probably like 10 minutes. And it really isn't feasible to have somebody from another section come over, because then their tables are going to suffer. So I have a great waiter over back there. And look, there's like 3 empty tables. You'll be great. Like just that transparency on both ends is really wonderful. And so when you're going out of your way to be that hospitable and that gracious and that, just caring, when they take advantage of that, that's when it's like, again,
Hmm.
I actually love how, as much as I complain on here, I love hospitality. I love having people over. I love entertaining. But like, if you're not a gracious guest, then you're no longer welcome. And I can't uninvite you to this restaurant, but I can be very guarded with the
Hmm.
level and the type of hospitality I provide you.
Yep. And that's exactly what would happen. I would become more reserved and still be professional, but I wouldn't be like, thank you so much for coming in. Have a great day. I'd just be like, thank you, and stuff like that.
And and if there's a free dessert to give or free drinks to give out, you're not getting
Oh,
it.
no, they're not getting it at all. No.
Not at all. Being
Yeah.
kind goes a long way.
Yes, it does. It does. But yeah, yeah, I just wish people were kind more in the hospitality industry. And I firmly believe everyone at one point should work in hospitality in the service industry, because
Yep.
then I feel like those people have more understanding and empathy when they enter a place of service. Um, and a lot of people don't realize just how hard it is.
Yeah.
It's so hard. It's stressful. It's physically demanding. It's long hours. Your brain is fried by the end of the shift. Um, so yeah, I firmly believe everyone should have an experience in hospitality just to have an understanding of what servers,
All
hosts,
that goes
people
into
go
your
through.
little evening out. Every little thing you
Yeah.
can imagine. You don't have to play every role in the restaurant, but playing any role, you can observe and being like this one modification and the ripple
Mhm.
effect of what it does.
Yeah.
And this, I'm in a hurry, I have a curtain at this, and I didn't plan ahead, how that affects everyone else and your at other
Hmm.
people's times. Because I've said it before many times on this podcast, restaurants, like life, are a shared experience. And
Yeah.
speaking of experiences, you have a few other experiences, or at least one that I know of working
Yeah.
somewhat hospitality adjacent. What was your other job in which you were the front-facing person welcoming
Yeah.
people in?
I worked at a bed and breakfast. This was a shorter time, it was for a few months, but I worked at a bed and breakfast where I was the front desk. I would check people in, check people out, um, and then also physically had to like escort them to their room. It's not like a normal check-in where you're given a card key and then you're like, oh, this is the directions to your room. It was like, actually, let's go up all of these stairs and show you to your room. And it was an old, former old like house, so there was no elevator. It was just
Hmm.
all stairs. And yeah, I had also carrying up the luggage was a responsibility that I had to do. I know, a lot. Um, but part of that job was not only was I front desk and like assisting guests checking in, I also had to cook for them. Um, I can't cook to save my life.
How
Um,
did you get the job?
and I lied.
As we do.
Yes, I do. It's like, yeah, I have experience. I can absolutely. Um, so it was during morning shifts that I would have to do that, and they were super early. I would have to get there at like 5:30 a.m. to start
Ooh.
preparing everything. Yeah, because breakfast started at 7:30. So I would have to get there to start like baking a souffle. That was what I had to make. Um, which ended up being the easiest thing for me to learn how to make. Actually, I always just did the same one. I never did the other ones, and like I would constantly get feedback of like you should try to explore other souffles, and I was like okay, but I never did because I knew it would be a disaster,
I know I
and I'd
got
probably
this.
get fired. Yeah, yes, I can only do this. Um, but what was I realized was harder for me was making hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah.
Like getting the timing of that right. There was a day where I thought I made the eggs. I thought I did a really good job. I was like, oh, they're ready to go for people when they come down to get their breakfast. Um, and we also had a whole storage of fridge in the fridge of hard-boiled eggs that we could use. So oftentimes we would put them in there. Um, to get that to get them out to serve the guests. So if we didn't want to make them again on a specific day, um, I I completely forgot that I had made these hard boiled eggs for the shift, and um, a guest came up to the office with her plate covered in egg yolk. It was like, these aren't hard. They're not cooked at all. This is all yolk. And I was like, oh no. Um, yes, all over everything. I had to get her new shoe plate. It's really bad. And then my dumbass was like, "Oh my God, I need to talk to the person that made that, and tell them we need to check the eggs before serving them."
Of course. Like I thought there was only one person who worked here.
And I put it in the notes. We had a little note thing on the computer, like be like, "Hey, let's do this next time." My coworker, a couple days later, she was so nice about it. She goes, "Hi, I saw your note about the eggs. Those are the ones you made." Um, I was like, "Oh, shoot,
Oh,
I'm so
those ones?
sorry."
That was
Those
me.
ones? Oh no. So yeah, it was a recipe for disaster. Um, I have not tried to make hard-boiled eggs since. Maybe I should try. Get
Yeah,
over it. Get over it
it
here.
it's nice to have in the refrigerator, it's
Yeah.
the place I work, we have one of our dishes has an 8-minute egg, but depending on like what night of the week it is and what
Hmm.
team is assembled, it sometimes looks like the 18-minute egg. So it's just like, that doesn't look like a soft runny egg. That looks yeah, that looks like an overdone yeah, not so cute.
Yeah.
But we don't have to you don't have to do a boiled egg if you don't want to, but maybe down the road.
Maybe. Yeah.
So you grew up in LA,
Hmm. Yeah.
born and
Born and raised.
raised. So a lot of people when I was moving to LA was like, well, it's not a theater town. It's not a theater town. And even my agents, they didn't say it wasn't a theater town, but they mentioned, like it's a different town, and a lot of the
Hmm.
theaters people have grown up in. So like it's going to take a while for them to not just get to know you, but utilize you. So can you kind of unpack the myth around LA as a theater town and then what it takes to do theater in LA? Because I'm, looking at some of your credits, San Diego, like there's a
Hmm.
lot to do that goes into Southern California theater. So can you talk about like your
Yeah.
experience and describe what it is to do theater in LA?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been now pursuing it professionally in LA for a little over 10 years now. And I would say the breaking into it is people don't talk enough about how hard it is in
Yeah.
LA. Like it's hard everywhere. But as you said, because it is such a small community and people grow up doing these companies, like I know people that performed in shows when they were like 5 years old, and then it's like a full circle moment. Here you are starring in this production. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people love to do that, which is wonderful. Um, and so you're real if you're not one of those people, you're really having to push through and attend every single audition multiple times. For Moonlight, I auditioned for 4 years in a row, would get called back, nothing, and finally booked. And it was that year where I was like, okay, this is my last time auditioning for them. If I don't get anything this year, I need to move on. I can't do this drive to San Diego from LA to get
Yeah.
rejected every year. Um, so yeah, persistence is the key in LA. And it's also most of the theater is Orange County, San Diego. There's like not, there is stuff in LA, but not as much. And it's getting a little bit better. Like smaller theaters are starting. That's why I'm like doing Parade in LA.
Yeah.
Getting that. There needs to be more. Um, but yeah, and then also growing up, there's so much children's theater in LA, and that's what I did as a kid growing up. Was getting my training that way. A lot of people when they're kids here like are pursuing it professionally and that are like working at like the big regional houses. I was not allowed to audition professionally until I turned 18,
Oh,
which I think was honestly, yeah, yeah. Um, I think was a good rule in the long run, just because I feel like it didn't. Not that a lot of people get like pushed into um, acting or um, getting some type of what's the word? Um, Getting like lost in the sauce, if
yeah.
that makes sense. Um, so I'm really grateful that I actually my parents had that rule for me. At the time, I hated it. I was like, I want to do this. I want to work at like this theater and this theater, like so and so, because I had a couple friends that were doing that. And it was constant like, no, you need to study um, and learn first before you are thrown into that. And
And
there was
have
also
certain
like other factors.
experiences of as a kid. Like
Yes.
this is important
Yes.
to your not only development, but like your social development of like you'll never get the chance to do
Hmm.
this again. So like yes, it's enticing to want to,
Hmm.
get out of school to do this and get out of school to that, but then like you don't get to go back. At 18, you can do
Yeah.
everything you want, but like
Yes.
now you're gonna want to go to your home. Maybe you don't, but like maybe you're gonna want to go to your homecoming. Maybe you're gonna want to like hang out with
Yeah.
friends on the weekends. And yeah, so interesting, but yeah, because you definitely fight your parents because you know better than
Yeah.
anybody at that point. And then in retrospect, you're like, oh, thanks, mom and dad.
Yeah. No, yeah, literally. Yeah. No. Yeah. But yeah, that's probably I feel like with the LA theater aspect, that's like a lot of what I experienced and like um how I broke into it was just consistently showing up.
Yeah,
Um and I at first was trying to just audition for the big regional theaters. Um, but then I was like, you know what? I need to build my resume. There's some really wonderful community theater in LA as well. There's so many places that put on shows. And so I started auditioning for those and booking those, which was like building my resume. And that helped. That's a big part of also getting cast is they want to see you have credits. They want to see that you've worked like
yeah,
outside of college. Um, just to see that you do get cast because yes, talent is important for casting, but it also shows if you have the credits on the resume that people want to work with you. So that means you're going to be a good person to work with. So
and
people
that
don't
your
want to take
tools
a
aren't
chance.
rusty. Like, there's
Yes.
a lot of debate around, and I don't want to get ahead of the conversation, but there's a lot of debate around 99 seat theater, which I call 99-cent
Hmm.
theater, because that's what it is sometimes. But it's like, in New York, they're showcase codes, they're workshop codes, and you're
Hmm.
still getting paid pennies, and but you're getting seen and you're creating. So it's like, yes, I would love to do Tuacon. And let me look in the yes, I would love to do Tuacon. But until
Hmm.
I book Tuacon, or until I book anything else, until I, finally break into La Mirada, until I break into, Five Stars, until I break into,
Hmm.
Musical Theater West, until that happens, I can't just keep getting called back and getting really. I'm putting all the effort into the callbacks,
Yeah.
and then just be like, I guess I just wait. Like, why wouldn't I do a 99 seat theater contract
Hmm.
for a show I love that keeps me creative? Because
Hmm.
I do my cabarets, I do my concerts, but that's really me micromanaging the experience and then letting my music director know what's going on. Whereas this is like, you need to kind of release control and like work. What is it like to make choices where I've done my homework on the show, and then I show up and you've done your homework, and oh, you went somewhere completely different with the scene, and like, it's sharpening that. Fuck it, let's jump ahead. So like, I want to know, like, for you, I can assume uh what was the inspiration behind doing Parade, and but when was it, what was the breakthrough to where it's like, I've done these roles, I'm really happy with these credits, but I
Hmm.
want to also do these dream roles and making shit happen. What was it that was like, I'm doing a show, I'm
Hmm.
becoming, of all my talents, now I'm adding producer to the list? What was that experience like?
Um, Honestly, this started back in February. I mean, I've always wanted to do this show. Like, it's my dream role,
Yeah,
dream show,
and
favorite
you're so
musical.
good at it.
Oh, thank you. You're so good on it. We
Stop
just blocked one of our scenes together.
it.
Um, but
Which we got to
I
brush
had
up
a
for before tonight.
I I know we're doing that tonight. Pretty music. Um, and but uh, yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Sorry. I have ADHD as well.
Well, there
Um,
we go. Let's get
there we
lost
go.
together. Boop, boop, ba, ba,
All
doop.
together.
You want
Woo!
to jump on a box with
Uh,
me? I was talking about your the drive, and like what it was that was like, we're finally doing a
yes.
show.
I it was a very rough audition season um, for me, very frustrating. Um, I had just joined Equity, like, just like, because I'm also bi-coastal in New York. I have an address there. I'm based in LA, but um, it's easier to get seen in New York if you're
Yeah,
Equity. You can make those appointments and get a time slot. Um, it's pretty much impossible non-union to get seen at an EPA
yeah,
in New York and stuff. So that was a big reason I joined. But because in SoCal Regional Theater, there's not as much money there, so oftentimes there's only a few Equity contracts, and the rest are non-union. Um, and so that was really tough. Just having a very rough audition season. Like, it was hard. It was hard.
yeah,
Like, we're used to rejection in this industry, but it takes a toll. Like,
yeah,
it's rough. It's rough for the mental health. It's rough for the heart. Um, but what finally pushed me to start this endeavor, was start getting Parade in the works, was the frustrating audition season. It finally was like, you know what, I got to take my career into my own hands. Let's make some opportunities. I've been wanting to do this show forever. And I had been talking about it like for a couple years. I didn't talk about it publicly just because you don't want
yeah.
the word out. Like, it's like if it's like a baby like growing in your head, it's growing in your head. Um,
Not gonna touch
but
that one with a 10-foot pole.
no, yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's find other words for that. um, but yeah, and so then I finally was like, let's do it. And I got Adam, other producer, who's playing Leo. We met back in 2018. We've known each other, we've been friends for years. And one of the first things we bonded over was that my dream role is Lucille and his is Leo. And both our favorite musical is Parade. Um, and I texted him just one night. I was like, we're doing Parade. Let's do it. And then we started the process. This was like back in February that we first started getting everything together and applying for the rights to MTI, which we were a little nervous if we were going to be able to get them because the tour was still happening.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and when they said we had it, I was so excited. We just couldn't announce it until a specific date once the tour had left LA with enough time passing. So that was very exciting. And that's kind of like what started this whole thing with Darren Productions and Parade.
What is
And it's my first time
Darendale?
producing. Yeah. Okay. So is it's a production company that was started back in 2021. It's now being used. My family and we have an LLC that was created back then during the pandemic to because there was no art happening, nothing was going on. We were locked up in our homes, and so this LLC, this company was started to um, get artistic endeavors created for me and my sister. And what's a fun fact about the name is it's our middle names. So Darren is my middle name, and Dale is my sister's middle name. So it's Darren Productions.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And so yeah, it's just developed into a little family thing. And I definitely want to continue growing it. At first, when I decided to do the show, I was like, oh, this will be like um, maybe a one-off that will lead to other things. But now, as I've been producing, while it's really hard and it's stressful, I want to do it again. Just because you learn a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but
And
yeah,
it's like
Darren
I
Dale.
know not Oprah. Oprah's not the one who originated this, but I know it got a lot around it. It touched people's minds when she brought it up. Like once you obtain the first dream, now you have
Mhm,
to create, and sometimes before you obtain, you have to start setting the groundwork for the next dream. What's next? So you want to be Lucille Frank. You are
mhm,
pounding the pavement to be in every single, like, I understand the frustrating audition season. I submitted, I worked on a call, an audition that I was requested to make, the self tape, sang a fucking high C, and did all that and heard nothing. And it's like all these things, I've another theater company that needed people who were able to sing in Italian. Nothing. All these things. And so yeah, so I understand, why you want to create this, and so you make Lucille Frank happen for you. And this is another
mhm,
thing that people, it's all about the spin, because this happened to me one time, and I hope it happens to us together. Um, I was doing a workshop in Nymph in New York City,
mhm.
and 2 summers or 2 winters before that, I did a production of A Man of No Importance at the
Oh,
Gallery Players Theater in Brooklyn, which is like even less than a 99-seat theater contract. What you get is reimbursed for your Metro swipe. So if you're called to this many rehearsals, they times that by two and then times that by the amount of the Metro swipe, and that's what you get at the end of the. I got $138 for that show, for 2 months of my time. But it was worth it. I mean, Aarons and Flaherty came to see it. Roger
yes.
Reese
Oh,
came to see it. Like it was, and did a talk back with us. Absolutely phenomenal. But I did that show, and then when I was doing this workshop, this was actually really funny because one of the creators, who I always say I'll never work with them again, and then they're like, "Hey, are you available?" I'm like, just like, ah, shit, it's like even worse than Sex with the Ex. It's like, it seemed like a good idea, but he was like, you are the only one in this show without a Broadway credit, and da 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 da, and so I need to make sure you're bringing it. And I'm like, I, what, where, like that is just so rude. You're the one that cast me.
yeah.
And it's like you're giving me this speech before rehearsal. It's just a little shitty, as if like Broadway obviously is a huge milestone and a goal and a whatever, but like to
Hmm.
say that I don't have it because I don't like, I should be grateful that I'm here before like we even start rehearsal. Like that's really shitty. But what happened was when they did the press release, they did the press release and they did people's credits. And one of my most recent credits was a man of no importance. And somebody at Playbill assumed they see Sean Patrick Murtagh, their Irish name, and they see Man of No Importance. They assumed I was in the Lincoln Center original Man of No Importance, and I was the headliner for, you know, when they say like so and so, like LaShawns and so are going to appear in this. It was me
Yeah.
and two other people who I'm not going to mention because I don't want to. Well, I ended up as a headliner on that, and I was like, put that in your pipe and smoke it. So I hope that happens to us with like
Yeah.
the tour just came through and they're just going to see parade on our thing, and like people have very short memories and people don't pay that much of attention. So you know, we were both in parade together and well, that's all people need to know. But that was a
Yeah.
very long way to get around to the next part, which is what is down the pipeline and when should I expect to get my offer for Secret Garden?
Oh my goodness. I know we want to do that. Um,
But what are some shows you're
right
thinking of
now,
without giving away too much?
ooh, I mean, Secret Garden, like for sure, is one I really want to do. I really would love to play Lily in that. Oh my
Mm,
gosh, singing How Could I Ever Know With You? That'd be so fun.
I know it.
But yeah, I think it would be kind of a little bit after the show ends, just
Yeah.
to kind of get our bearings back. But other shows I really want to do are it's I don't know if you've heard of it. I'm sure you have. Lizzie the musical. It's about
The
Lizzie
Fall River?
Borden.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Lizzie Borden musical. Yeah, I want to do that. One of me and my friend really want to do that together.
that sounds
Um,
amazing.
yeah, which would be fun because I don't normally do rock musicals. I'm a very classical girly, like was trained like
You and me
in
both, baby.
there. Yep, we love it. We love it. It's honestly, I think it's my favorite genre actually. Is like golden age classic
Yeah.
musical theater. Um,
We're adding Guys
but
and Dolls
so
to the list too, by the way.
oh, absolutely. Oh my God, I did Guys and Dolls when I was a kid as
What?
Adelaide though.
Okay. I can see
Yeah, it was
that, but
fun.
I could
Yeah,
also
yeah,
see, I
yeah.
could
Yeah.
hear you singing Sarah Brown. Very lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Um,
I'd love that. Yeah,
that's
I would
so
love that.
that's so cool. Sorry, I interrupted you. But like
No,
Lizzie
you're
would
good.
be another great, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a really small cast. It's so interesting. I started off with such a big show, and we have a 19-person cast,
Which is
which,
impressive, and
uh,
we're pretty much blocked. We have two numbers to choreograph.
yep,
Like
yes,
that's
yeah,
impressive. And with
yeah,
the other thing with 99 seat theater contracts is because we are very grateful to receive a paycheck for this, but it is limited, so people still have to work their normal jobs, and
yep,
so you have to kind of deal with people's, like a workshop code, people's
hmm,
schedule comes first. And so the fact that
yeah,
you're dealing with 19 different people's schedules, and like more than 19 if you think of the creative team, uh,
mm,
and we're here fully blocked with 3 weeks to go, that's pretty
yeah.
amazing. So God, this got away from us. This is our, I can't believe it went that fast. So let's talk about
Oh my
Parade,
gosh.
why people should
Yeah.
see it, and how they can see it, how they can get tickets, all of that.
All right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So Parade is it's based on a true story. Very heartbreaking true story. Back in 1913, a 13-year-old girl, Mary Fagan, was murdered in Atlanta, Georgia, at the National Pencil Factory, where a man named Leo Frank was the superintendent. Anti-Semitism was a very big then, like it still is today. It's still a major issue.
3,000 years.
Um, yes, yes. And so Leo Frank was wrongly accused and convicted of murdering her. The story is about him and the trial and the town's reaction to it and the way like a mob mentality can start. And then it's also about it's also a love story at the end of the day. It's a love story. Like Leo and Lucille, they start off even though they've been married for 3 years, they're kind of strangers to each other.
Yeah.
They don't have a close bond. It's very much we're married. This is what is this expected to happen. And it's about their relationship growing from this horrible experience they're both going through. And it's just them falling in love with each other,
Yeah.
which I think is so beautiful that
And
there is.
there's a lot of awakenings on stage too in different people. And
Yes,
even though people may
yes,
not respond in the way they should to their awakening, you just see
hmm
almost you can't change the past, you can't
yeah,
heal the past, but you can create hope. That
yes, yes,
hopefully these people learn something and maybe not, but just the idea that humanity is capable. We can't rewrite history, but we can create a place of where it could have gone, and we could of where we can the next time we're up with this. And it just, as history's seen, like, we have to keep doing this until we get better. And I feel like
yes.
that's the hope, is the awakening of people. um it's beautiful. So the dates, we open
October 23rd at 7:30, and we close November 2nd, which is a Sunday at 3 p.m. We run Thursdays through Sundays for 2 weekends. And you can get tickets through
3 weekends if
Eventbrite.
you're my boss.
Yeah, 3 weekends, 3 weekends.
But
Yeah,
if you're
three
not my boss,
weekends.
it's only 2 weekends. Don't show up on the third weekend.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if you can hear my cats, but they're yelling from my room. Um,
Pets love this
but
podcast.
they love it. They love it. Cats love it. But yeah, you can see the show on Thursdays through Sundays from October 23rd to November 2nd. Tickets you can get on Eventbrite. You can find it also on, the link is on my Instagram if people want to check that out. My Instagram handle is Bryce Hambat, shameless plug. And so you can get tickets that way. You can also get it through the Electric Lodge's site, which is where the show is going to be, in the Kelman Theater. So you can get it there. You can also Google it. It's now on Broadway World and Theater Mania, and like the ticket link is there. So yeah, anyway, that's how you can
Lots
come
of
see it.
places to see it, and I will make sure that it is in the show notes. So whether you're listening, whatever device you're listening on, whatever platform, on YouTube, it'll be in the show notes, so you can click and get your tickets, because it is a 99 seat theater. That's why the contract is named that way. And I know for at least me and one other actor, one of the shows is on our birthday, so we're probably going to be splitting that house. It's 19 people, a lot of people with lots of families, so tickets will sell, and it's a beautiful production. Before I let you go, and before I see you in
Hmm
just a few hours,
Yes,
I always like to end the show because we live and die by reviews, and it's always the bad stuff that gets around a bit quicker. So I always like to make
yes.
sure that I share the good news. And whether I'm in a restaurant as a guest and I have an experience that I think management should know about, like, hey, you have an
hmm
amazing team here. Hey, boom, 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 whatever it is. If I'm at work and one of my coworkers makes my life easier, like my work husband, Tyler, um, who I love and adore, I let my managers know. Just so you know, so and so is doing this, and so, I saw them do this unprovoked. So they deserve, your attention. Um,
hmm
who is someone in your life, in any area of your life, that has made a tough shift a little easier for you and you'd like to shout out today?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I'm gonna say my mom.
Oh,
I'm gonna say my mom. Um, yeah, I know we're running out of time, but she has been there through the hardest of transitions,
hmm,
and has dealt with a lot. Like I have learned a bunch of learning disabilities, which I was diagnosed with, as a kid, and she was the one that was consistently getting me through those transitions,
hmm.
um, with the hardships that come with that. So yeah, I need to shout out to my mom, Cynthia Hamilton. She's a rock star. She's my rock. So I
Well,
need to.
moms are magical, and Cynthia, you are no
Hmm
exception. So there you have it. This episode is dedicated to you. Thank you for everything you do, to make our tough shifts a little easier. And clearly, the world needs more people like you. Thank you for so much for tuning in. Thank you to Bryce. This has been another episode of Tough Shift. And just remember, tough shifts build character, and character is what brings your story to life. Take care, everyone.
TUFF SHIFT was created and hosted by Sean Patrick Murtagh. It was recorded on Riverside and distributed with Buzzsprout. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and maybe a comment or two. And remember, TUFF shifts build character, and character is what brings your story to life.